is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be live on the radio in about 10 minutes. I'm just setting up still. So we got a lot to cover. I'm going to start today with the Millie story because that's huge. That's just huge. But we got a lot to cover. But that's going to be what I'm going to start with today on the radio. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, everyone. Oh, we have so much to cover. I'm definitely starting with the General Milley because that is the story with General Milley is the beginning of something big. So that has to be covered right out the gate. Right out of the gate. Very big. But there's a lot of other things to cover too. That's just one of the many things that I'm going to cover today. And of course, your calls. If you want to call in live, the number is pinned in the live chat. And so I'm going to start with Millie, then I'm going to go through the press conference yesterday and play some of the audio and break that down, which was a perfect press conference. Does everyone agree that press conference was perfect yesterday? It could not have gone better. And after that, I've got so much to cover today. Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot more. I'm not going to go through. If you watch on my other stream, you get to see the visuals. This is the behind the scenes. If you go to my other stream, that's where you hear the audio, see the video, see the graphics that I'm talking about. And to do that, you have to have a green screen. So you guys get a behind the scenes look. This is the green screen behind me here. But if you look on my other stream, which I'll go live with shortly, you can see and hear everything. On this stream, you just get the green screen and me. That's right. Oh, we have so much to get into today. I mean, this is just exciting time to be an American. Nope, Millie was not pardoned. No pardon for Millie. Believe me. If he was pardoned, that's all they'd be talking about. But no, he was not pardoned. Sorry. But this is the Millie. What people are missing. There's a lot of corrupt government officials. He's only the first. This is going to be the first of many of these government officials that have committed high treason and other crimes, and they're going to be brought to justice. That's it. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Miley Cyrus is leaving the USA. Who would notice? Who would notice? Do any of these people ever leave? They're always, all these liberals are always promising to leave the country whenever a Republican gets elected. Do any of them ever do it? I don't think. I think Ellen left because of she's avoiding being a witness in some deposition or trial with P. Diddy. That's what I think is going on with her. I don't think she left because of Trump. Mike is running a little late today. He's not at the radio station yet. He just sent me a text. He's going to try to be there by 5 after. He'll try to get there sooner. Oh boy. So, you got I'll start the stream here in a minute. There'll be a little not on the radio discussion. Welcome one and all. All right, I'm going to start the other stream and we'll get going even though we're not on the radio yet. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. We're not on the radio yet, and we're probably, I don't know how many minutes away because Mike the board op running a few minutes late to get us on the radio, and I'm not at the radio station today, so I can't do it. But you're getting the pre-show. This is the pre-live on the radio right here, and we have so much to cover today. You know, I'm going to start, of course, with what's going on with General Milley with Pete Hegseth. And, you know, Milley committed high treason on January 6th. So we'll go through that. And they're talking about demoting him. And, you know, he can be demoted. I would like to see them demote him. You know, you got to be realistic about it because I know everyone will say, well, he should be demoted to buck private. If you go to prison, right, if you're court-martialed and go to prison, you lose all your rank and benefits. That's true. But do you think that Pete Hegseth and President Trump, and this is something I want to ask people to call me about, do they really want a court-martial? Because the jury in a court-martial would be other high-ranking generals. And most of the generals in place right now are Biden and Obama generals. Might not be able to get a guilty verdict. So would it be better to not have a court-martial of Milley? We got to be realistic. Not have a court-martial of Milley, and after they investigate and show everyone what he did, demote him to, say, colonel, which is a big step down. He'd no longer be a general at all, and that would affect his retirement as well, big time. What would you guys think? Because I don't think a trial's risky. Now, if they bring him up as on a court-martial, that would mean that Pete Hegseth thinks that they're going to get a conviction, but it's hard to say when you've got this woke military with all these DEI generals in the Army, which would be his jury. So I think it would be more realistic to have the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to demote him as low as they can. At least to colonel, right? At least to colonel. Let's see. We got a couple minutes here till we're live. Well, the pardon, see, what they're saying is the pardon does not apply to the military, that they could still demote him. So I guess the court-martial would be off the table. You can't court-martial him, but they could still demote him. By, calling him back to active duty and demote him, because that's not a criminal charge. That's just the commander-in-chief making a decision, right? All right, let's see here. I'm waiting for Mike to tell us when we're going to go live. I've never heard of someone... I don't know how pardons affect the military system, though. Do you know of anyone who's been pardoned that's a military person for military crimes? Are these pardons do the pardons cover? See, this is another question. We're in uncharted territory with these pre-pardons. Are we able to give does the pardon have to be specific to military charges? Has anyone been pardoned of military crimes by a president before that you all know of? I'm not talking about the Civil War people. That was a whole nother deal. I'm talking about a specific officer who broke specific laws that are violations of the military code of conduct. What would you think? Because we're in uncharted territory with these pre-pardons like this. No one really knows. Well, Trump knows. I don't know. Do they cover the military court systems? Benedict Arnold escaped to England. Let's see. It says a president can grant a pardon in the United States District Courts, Superior Court of the District of Columbia, or military court-martial. So we are definitely in new territory. But he could be recalled to active duty and demoted, which would affect his retirement. That could happen. I don't know. It's a dicey thing, isn't it? But then again, maybe the investigation itself would just reveal his actions to people that don't know about it on January 6th. No talk like that, Antonio. That will not be allowed. Now, we're not on the radio quite yet because Mike is running a little late. Let me see. Because I've never heard of somebody in the military being pardoned before. I'm sure it's happened. But I'm not familiar with one offhand. Are you? And has one, if any have happened, have there been any in the modern history? You know, but recalling him and demoting him, that is doable regardless of the pardon. But see, this pre-pardon thing. You know, this is insane to me. But there's a lot of people that didn't get pardons. So we'll find out. I'm waiting to hear from Mike on when we're going to be live because we are 5 or 6 minutes late from being on the radio right now. So we'll be live soon, and we're going to take your calls on this because this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot to discuss with all of this with General Milley and what happened yesterday because we are in uncharted territory. And I'll throw it out there on the air, and maybe we'll have some people in the audience who can call in that have some expertise in these issues. You know, and I don't think there are many people who do because it's such uncharted territory. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Where has the week gone? If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. I'm waiting to hear from Mike is the board op at the radio station. He's running late, so I'm waiting for him to signal me as to what time we're going to be live on the radio. But that's what I'm going to lead with today because I think there's all kinds of great questions here. You know, has anyone in the modern era been pardoned for military crimes? Would the demotion hold up? Or would they say he can't be demoted by the commander-in-chief because he was pardoned by the previous commander-in-chief? I don't know. I think you can demote anyone at any time. If you're the commander-in-chief, it's up to you, right? No, Vindman did not get a pardon. He's another one who should be recalled and demoted. Well, we'll get through all of that when we get on the air. I thought we would be. I would have started when right now with all this, but I thought we'd be on the air by now. So we're not. Okay, he's setting up now. Okay. So I'm going to get into all of this when we're live. And you're welcome to call in. If you want to call in, if you're watching live, the number to call is posted in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. Now also, if they question him and he lies, that is a new crime that the pardon would not cover because you're pardoned for past crimes, not future crimes, right? So if they investigate and question him and he lies to federal agents, he most definitely could get charged. Okay. So yeah, what would be your guess? Will Trump recall General Milley and demote him? And if he does, what rank do you think is realistically he could demote him to? Or he would demote him to? Not what your dream is. I think Buck Private would be the best. And he would definitely be worthy of that. But is that realistic? Trump does have the power to demote him. So we missed the first segment. I told Mike to play the first commercial break, which is, at 13 after. And then I'm going to start coming out of the break. Just 1 star, that wouldn't do it. Make him a 3-star lieutenant general. I'd like to see him at least demoted to colonel. But the lower he could demote him, the better. I'd like to see him recalled to active duty and then demoted to as low as President Trump can demote him. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, I'm being realistic. He's got the pardon. I'm sure it covers the military system. Okay, we'll be live in 3 minutes on the radio. I'm sure it covers the military courts completely, so there's no hope of trying him. So we got to be what is realistic, or call him to active duty and demote him as low as you can and give him the worst job you can give him. Can you demote a 4-star general to private first class? Can a president do that? We're in such uncharted territory, but it really needs to happen. And a lot of it has to be also has to be with him discussing being questioned, which he has to testify. He has to answer questions and get on the record what he did on January 6th. Has a general ever... How does anyone know when a general has been demoted, or an admiral, how low have they gone in that demotion? I remember in Abu Ghraib, there was a lady brigadier general, and she got, because Abu Ghraib was a big scandal, they demoted her to colonel for her retirement. They fired her, forced her to retire, and demoted her to colonel. It was just 1 step. From 4 to 3, any demotion, even taking 1 star, would be humiliating, but he needs to feel more than just that, right? I think. I don't think 1 star is enough. At least to colonel. He should be in prison, but he's been pardoned by Biden. So he can't, there's the only way that he would go to jail is if federal agents question him and he lies and they get him on perjury charges. That's the only way they could send him away to jail. And get a conviction on that crime, by the way, which is an unknown. Because if he lied, would he be tried in civilian or military court? You see, there's so many things here. Probably military court. Well, I'm gonna break it all. I would have started with it at the top, but I didn't think we would be on the air this late. So I'll lay out the whole premise when we start in about 30 seconds. We're going to be live in 30 seconds. If you're new, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. All right? So if you're new, subscribe. All of you who are already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps a lot. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. All right, we've got a lot to cover, and this is one of those instances where I am going to need the help of this audience to give me the answers to some really big questions, okay? Now, I got a lot to cover today, a lot, and I'm going to cover a great many things, but I'm going to start with this story on General Milley. Now, I'm going to read through this story a little bit just to get you up to speed, and then I'll get into what my questions are. This is Fox News. The Pentagon is, and this is all under Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Pentagon pulling General Milley's security detail and clearance immediately, and he may face demotion in his retirement. Now, General Milley was one of Biden's pre-pardons, and the pre-pardon covers all federal legal systems, including the military courts. So there's no way that Milley can be tried, even in military court, for his crimes on January 6th, which I'll go over in a little bit. But here's Fox News. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will announce he is immediately pulling retired four-star General Mark Milley's personal security detail and security clearance, multiple senior administrations officials tell Fox News. Pete Hegseth is also directing the new acting inspector general, remember because Trump fired all those inspector generals, to conduct a review board to determine if enough evidence exists for General Milley to be stripped of a star in retirement based on his actions to undermine the chain of command during President Donald Trump's first term, officials say. The Pentagon will also be removing a second portrait of General Milley inside the Pentagon. This one is from the Army's Marshall Corridor on the third floor, honoring his service as Chief of Staff of the Army. Fox News is told the removal of the second portrait will take place as soon as, well, last night, so it should be done. This means there will be no portraits of Milley inside the Pentagon. The first portrait of Milley from his time as the U.S. military's top officer was removed from the Pentagon last week on Inauguration Day, less than 2 hours after President Trump was sworn in. Now retired General Milley and other former senior Trump aides have been assigned personal security details ever since Iran vowed revenge for the Soleimani 2020 strike. On Fox News over the weekend, it goes on and on. Okay, General Milley served as Joint Chiefs Chairman from 19 to 23 under Trump and Biden. He was the Army Chief of Staff from 2015 to 19. In his new book, War, CIA operative Bob Woodward writes, General Milley told him at a reception at the Willard Hotel in D.C. on March 6, 23, that he believed Trump was fascist to the core. Milley was still serving in uniform as chairman of the Joint Chiefs when he made that remark. Woodward wrote that General Milley shared his worries about Trump's mental stability and control of nuclear weapons in a previous book. When the leader of ISIS was killed, President Trump did praise Milley and thanked him. It goes into some details on that. Bob Woodward and his co-author of the book Peril, Robert Costa, wrote, General Milley called his Chinese counterpart on 2 occasions in the final months of Trump's first term, warning him that U.S. military forces had no plans to strike China. Okay, so here's what's going on. On January 6th, General Milley committed some very serious crimes. In fact, the worst of all, treason. On January 6th, during everything that was happening at the Capitol, General Milley called his counterpart in China's military and had a conversation with him outside the chain of command. He was involved in conversations with Nancy Pelosi, who was speaker at the time, about possibly removing Trump from office or control of the military. So he was involved in a conspiracy, just right out of 7 Days in May with Burt Lancaster. General Milley was involved in a criminal treasonous conspiracy with Nancy Pelosi on January 6th to remove President Trump from office. That's a coup. He was involved in a coup. Then he took control illegally of the nuclear arsenal, went into the room where they controlled the nukes and took control. And as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, chairmen of the Joint Chief have no military command. No military command. I used to think that they were like the general of all the forces, but that's not true. They are the Pentagon's military advisor to the president. They have no military command. So those actions on January 6th are high treason. Stuff like that you go to prison for the rest of your life. So he received a pardon from Biden. One of the pre-pardons went to Milley. So he can't be court-martialed because the pardon applies to the military courts as well, because it's a federal court. He can't be tried on any of that treason, which I must say, he may have committed more treason than any other general in history, maybe even more so than Benedict Arnold. At least, if not equal or greater than Benedict Arnold, second only to Benedict Arnold. I don't think we've ever had a United States Army general do the things he did. Okay, I mean maybe it's equal to Benedict Arnold. I don't know, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, you know. So, but there are some options that the president has, and of course that's President Trump. Now, one option you see going on here right now, right? Pete Hegseth is going to launch an internal investigation. Now, there can be no criminal penalty against Milley because he received a pre-pardon. As a general, he can be reactivated by the military. So he can be reactivated, even though he's retired. He can be reacted into the military. And everyone is saying that the commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, could demote him. Now, the historian Fox says take 1 star away. Well, I don't know how that works. I don't think anyone truly knows how this works, because at least in modern times, we've never been through this. Now, there have been people that have been pardoned for military crimes, but I don't think anyone's been pardoned for a crime. And I don't want to talk, the Civil War people don't count. That was a different thing. Outside of the Civil War. Everyone got a pardon in the Civil War, from General Lee down to, a drummer boy, okay? That was a different time and a different situation. But since and before the Civil War, I don't know if we've had a pardon of a general ever. And certainly I don't think we've had a pardon outside the Civil War now, before the Civil War and after. Have we had a pardon of anyone in the United States Army or any branch of our service who had committed high treason and was involved in a coup of the President of the United States, which is what that conversation he had. What they were talking about doing was remove, and this was the discussion he had with Pelosi and others, removing Trump somehow. They were talking about how it could be done, and making Pence the president. That's what their plans were. And by the way, those discussions went all the way through the day before the inauguration. They were thinking about doing that as some humiliation to Trump, and Pence showing up at Biden's inauguration as the new president. That was a real thing. And he was involved in all that every step of the way. So there's no way, again, outside of the Civil War, there's no way we've had a pardon of a U.S. military person of any rank for something like that. But he's gotten the pre-pardon. So there's a couple options for Donald Trump. And I want to throw this out to you guys, because I know we have a lot of people that are former military that have an understanding of this. But no one really does. So I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-465-2631. Every expert agrees that he can be recalled to active duty as a general, and that Trump can demote him. We know that. How far can he demote him? How low of a rank can he demote him? Can he take all his stars away and make him a colonel, a second lieutenant, or a private first class? What the commander-in-chief, because now keep in mind, he's received a pardon from Joe Biden, a pre-pardon. With a pardon, can President Trump recall him to active duty and demote him still, even though he's been pardoned? Is that still under the purview of the commander-in-chief? And how low is he allowed to pardon him? Can he make him a private first class? Can he make him a colonel? Can he make him a brigadier general? How low can he pardon him? And this is a very important thing, because the thing about a democracy, a republic, like ours, is the military answers to civilian authority. That's why we have a civilian defense secretary, a civilian commander-in-chief. Okay? So I want to ask you that. How low can he be demoted with the pardon? Or does the pardon prevent him from being demoted? Everyone says he could be demoted. Fox is saying 1 star. I think they just made that 1 star up. How low can he be demoted? Now, I saw a general, when the Abu Ghraib incident happened, there was a lady general who was in charge of Abu Ghraib at the time, and she faced discipline. They fired her, forced her to retire from the service, and they demoted her to colonel. She was a brigadier general, and they one-star general, brigadier general, and they demoted her to full colonel. Can he demote him only? Can President Trump, one, demote him with the pardon? And second, can he demote him just one rank and make him a 3-star lieutenant general? Could he demote him to colonel? Or could he make him a private first class? Is that possible? Second, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, if any of you know. I got a lot of issues to cover, but I want to hear your thoughts on this, because this is big and it's important, and after the break at the bottom of the hour, I'll tell you why it's important. For many reasons. Second, could he recall him to active duty, demote him, and keep him in the service? And give him like the worst job? Could he do that? And third, and I'm talking about realistically now, and third, there's another possibility, okay? The pardon doesn't include future crimes. So if there's a federal investigation into his actions on January 6th, and he lies to the federal investigators, lying to federal agents is a federal crime. People go to prison for this. This is what jams up a lot of people, right? Isn't that what they got Flynn on? So if they get him in one of those perjury traps, even with the pardon, is it realistic to get him in jail? And if he lies to the federal investigators, it's a military investigation, NCIS, Mark Harmon and the whole bunch. He would, if he lies to federal investigators, he would be tried in a military court. And if he's tried in a military court, the jury would be made up of his peers, which would be other generals. Could you get a conviction with a jury of generals in this DEI military generalship that we have going on right now? So there's a lot of things on the table about Millie and what's going on. I know we've got a lot of military, ex-military, experts in the military in this audience, and I would very much like to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. I got a lot of other topics I want to get into today, but I would like to get some questions on this. I'll get to your calls after the break, and also tell you why it's important that this is dealt with and dealt with properly, and Millie faces some type of consequences for his high treason on January 6th. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. All right, we are clear. So that's it. I mean, there's a lot to cover there, right? Absolutely, there's a lot to cover. And I haven't heard anyone get into the details of this yet. Hopefully they will today, but we're going to do it first here. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening. I will go to the calls after the break, and I'll break down why this is important too in the next segment, as this has got to be dealt with yesterday. The pardon does apply to the military courts. But I'm glad they're going after him. It takes a lot of balls for them to go after Millie. It really does. Got it. This is and it's the first move by President Trump to go after the lawfare people, because we're wondering what's going to happen to these lawfare people. Well, he's one of them. He's in bed with them. So, and he was conspiring with people like Pelosi who didn't get pardons. If you're on hold, stand by. And you got to understand, I don't know if we've ever seen a general in the modern era commit a felony. There's been some sexual harassment things, like tail hook. There was a general involved in that. There's been some adultery things. But we've never had someone who's done something, like this. Well, he was pardoned. That's the thing. Millie got one of the pardons. So that's why these other things factor in. So it's a mess. It really is, isn't it? It's a mess. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subscribed to the channel, please like the video, if you don't mind. That helps a lot. Get the word out about the channel. I'm waiting for Mike to tell me when we're back. Did Christy Gnome look great yesterday or what? That was so awesome. She's pretty cool. That was amazing. Yesterday it was pretty cool. I loved it. That was amazing. Oh, I'm sure, first one to get caught. But I still think he could do the recall and demote him, even with the pardon. Okay, we'll be back in about 20 seconds, so stand by. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to get to it. Just to recap, we're talking about Millie, who did receive a pre-pardon from Biden, but he's in the news, and they're talking about recalling him to active duty and demoting him. So we're talking about all the options that President Trump has against General Milley, even though he has received a pardon. And this is huge. So let's go to the phones, and I'll share some more thoughts. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, I'm going to put you on hold, okay? We'll get to the calls after the next break, okay? Because I want to bring up a couple of things first, okay? Before we get into this. And if you're on hold, hang in there. He is part of, this is the first, this move with General Milley is the first move that President Trump has made against the conspirators against him, the lawfare people. And there's been a lot of talk about what's going to happen to these lawfare people. And, the general feeling most people have is nothing. And I don't believe that. I think President Trump, one, wants to clear his name. He wants to expose these traitors. And not all of them have received pardons. Okay? And he's the first General Milley. And he's pretty high profile. And it is important for these lawfare people to be brought to justice. Every single one of them. And, people like Milley and Liz Cheney, who have been pardoned, one thing about being pardoned, not only does it not pardon you from future crimes, you are required to testify without taking the Fifth Amendment on any of these things because you've been pardoned. The Fifth Amendment, the right against self-incrimination, for those that aren't familiar, you see it on all the TV shows. If you can't be prosecuted, you can't incriminate yourself, right? So you have to tell the truth. And if you are asked about these crimes that you committed, whether it's Liz Cheney or Milley, and you've been pardoned of those crimes, you lie about what you did, that's a new crime that the pardon isn't covered by. That's one. Another thing, you can be, which is amazing, right? I mean, this is what's going on here. You can also be compelled to testify against others, even though you've been pardoned, and others can't be prosecuted either because they've been pardoned. You can be compelled to testify against others who have not been pardoned that could face prosecution for this. And this applies to a lot of people. Okay? As an example, Liz Cheney could be brought in to testify on that lying witness about Trump trying to take over the limo, and the witness could be charged because she didn't receive a pardon. So this is very, very important. And what they do with General Milley and how they handle this will set the stage for these other lawfare people. And there's a lot of people that need to be investigated and dealt with and handled. And you know what? They will be. So this is one that is unique beyond measure, but it's also important. And really, you ever heard that expression, low-hanging fruit? People go after the low-hanging fruit, the lowest. Okay? This is low-hanging fruit. Now, one thing I want to mention before we go to the phones, and I will go to the phones after the next break, okay? I'm going to get into a lot of details about the Karoline Leavitt's first press conference yesterday, the first White House press briefing. I'm going to get into that in detail a little bit later on the program because it was a perfect, great press conference. She did spectacular. But one thing she talked about, she shared a statement from President Trump himself. Promises made, promises kept. President Trump told us he would share with us the drone information. And I'll play the clip later of her when I go. I'm going to play some audio sound bites from the White House press conference yesterday, which was fantastic. Oh man, I watched the whole thing live. I couldn't wait for it to come on yesterday. It was beautiful, perfect press conference. She did so good. Oh man, you know Trump high-fived her after. He had to. It was so good. But she told us that the drones were nothing. That the drone flights were FAA approved for the larger drones, and it was some type of research that was being done that was government approved. A lot of the others was because people were sending up their own drones to find out what was going on with all these other drones. So I want you to think about the type of lowlives that have been running this government the last 4 years. In New Jersey, it was around the country, but in particular in New Jersey, there was mass panic going on. People were scared. I got calls on this show from people in New Jersey who were terrified. There was mass panic going on, and it was increasing every day. And the Biden administration knew exactly what had happened. That these were some research flights with some larger drones, FAA approved, government was all involved in it, nothing to see here. There were a lot of people setting up their private drones, which was causing some confusion. But they allowed mass hysteria to take over New Jersey, the news, and the country. And, you know, people could have been hurt, even killed. If some people would have decided, well, you know, we don't know what these are, and started taking out their 12 gauges and tried to bring down these drones, people could have been killed. And it shows you the sickness of the people that were running this country the last 4 years, that they allowed mass hysteria to continue for weeks as a distraction from something because it hijacked the news cycle. I talked about it several times, but the 24-hour news cycle was covered this nonstop, the drone story. And a lot of times there'll be a story in the news and people will say, oh, that's a distraction. That's a distraction. That's not true. Most oftentimes when people tell you that a story is a distraction, it's just a story they personally are not interested in. So they call it a distraction. This drone story was a distraction. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And the Biden regime used that distraction of mass hysteria over the drones to distract from something they were doing. Now, what they were distracting from, we may not know, but it was certainly that. So the previous administration, that's how dangerous they were. That's how bad they were. That they would allow mass hysteria to take place in an American state, statewide, just to distract from some corruption they were doing, where people could have gotten killed from that. And it's a miracle no one did, really, because people were scared for good reason. What kind of people have been running this country? Sick, twisted people have been running this country these past 4 years. And that, when that story dropped, the media weren't even interested in it yesterday when Karoline Leavitt shared that story. They were ready just to move on from it. I want to tell you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. He's rid me of pain 7 times. His laser wave pain treatment is miraculous. Miraculous. He is a miracle worker. What Dr. Appleton does, he has so many years of experience. He is able to detect and locate where the pain is coming from. Like I'll give you an example. With one of the times when I'd injured my shoulder and I had shoulder pain, it was from my shoulder all the way down to the tips of my fingers. And he examined me and he said, the pain's coming from right here. And he treated that spot with the laser. And what the laser does with Dr. Appleton, it repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. It's amazing. And that's how it works. It is 100% painless. Painless. You don't even know what's happening. You can't even feel it. There's no feeling or sensation at all. It's not just painless, you don't even feel it, the laser treatment. Isn't that amazing? Now, there's no shots, no injections, no downtime. Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of, and I'm learning about new pains all the time. I meet so many of our listeners who just rave, oh, my hip, my neck, my back, my knees, my hand, my fingers, my this, my that. People are being rid of pain in instances where they've been suffering for decades with Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. And Dr. Appleton offers free consultations. Free consultations. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. But again, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome. If you have x-rays, MRIs, bring them with you. And Dr. Appleton will take a look at those. So give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We're going to take our last break of the first hour and be right back. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, we're going to be back in just 1 minute from now. Less than that, actually. So if you're on hold, I'm going to go to Mike because I put him back on hold there. I didn't set up the phone. I had to set it up during the break here. That's why I put him back on hold. Happens sometimes. So we are in just all kinds of new territory today. No getting around that. But this stuff with General Milley is huge. Okay, 15 seconds and we're back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video, if you don't mind. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, we're going to go to the phones, really for the first time. If you're on hold, hang in there. I brought up quite a bit so far today, and we've just scratched the surface. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
How you doing?
All right.
Did you get my message this morning? Did you see that?
No.
Okay. First of all, Benedict Arnold escaped. But
he escaped to England. Yes.
What he did.
He escaped to England. Yes.
He escaped. So we get Millie and we destroy his reputation, and that'll be worse than anything. That'll be worse than taking a stripe away. He'll go down as a traitor to this country because that's what he was, especially with China.
Well, you know, Richie, most people don't know what he did, and I'll tell you something. If they find out that he's rich, and he's gotten rich since he left the army, and they connect China to it, oh yeah, he'd be a disgrace. Do you think it's realistic for them to recall him and demote him?
No, not really. I don't think so. But I think they'll kill his reputation. That's more important to these maniacs or anything else. Can I mention something you said? You brought up Christy Nome, how great it was. I have a different something that really bothered me. That was what I sent you this morning. You know, they raided that apartment in New York City. You know, you've been to New York, right?
Yeah, of course. Many times.
Brian, that apartment that they raided was my best friend's apartment, my first girlfriend's apartment. In the back, I mean, I left it. I looked at that and I got sick. I got totally sick what they've done to that whole place. But when I was a kid growing up, I was 5 years old. My first girlfriend was there. And then a guy moved in there, became one of my best friends.
In the same apartment? I mean, in the same apartment?
That same apartment that 15 of these dirtbags.
Wait a minute. The same building or the apartment that the gang leader was in?
The same apartment.
Oh my goodness.
I used to talk to my friend's mother, and she used to be at the window, and the father used to take me to hockey games in New York. I was totally shocked. And in the same building, I had a very close friend that I went to camp for 4 years with, overnight camp. I mean,
small world.
It brought my childhood back. I could not believe. You know what the odds of that? The odds of that happening?
Well, not as high as you think. Somebody had to live there before.
Yeah, but there's so many people in New York City, and so many kids, and so many neighborhoods. This was my best friend's apartment. I just was totally shocked. And then this guy, I'm good. And Venezuelan, I'm married to a Venezuelan girl. Everything just was like, oh my God.
You know, the thing about this gang leader, Christy Nome leading the raid, which was pretty exciting. But there are a couple things about this guy. One, I was surprised how young he is. He looks like he's about 22 years old.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and the other thing is he wasn't hiding, and he had no fear of being caught because he didn't think the government would ever round him up or cared to. He thought he was like a free man to roam.
Yeah, that one guy they interviewed, the neighbor, said that they were smoking weed outside all day long, not working. They had girls coming out of that apartment, prostitutes. There were 15 of them living in one bedroom.
You know, usually people that are wanted, especially the most wanted, they live a clean life. They don't want to get busted with by not using a turn signal to change lanes, right? That's how they got Bundy. He had a busted taillight, remember?
Yeah,
so, but this guy was doing crime, smoking weed, hanging out, bragging. It's insane.
That neighborhood has changed so much, it broke my heart. It really bothered me. It's bothering me right this time I'm talking to you, but I had to get it out. I mean, it really bothers me to see as a kid how beautiful that place was with the neighborhood. Everyone was so close knit.
But you know what though? My grandparents retired to Florida, and they lived in a nice house in Pompano, and my grandmother had a duplex with her sister. My grandmother's sister, my aunt, lived on one side, and my grandmother lived on the other. And I used to go there every summer. It was beautiful. It was nice. and in Pompano, close to, and I went by there a few years ago, and it was like a drug den. So neighborhoods change. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it makes you feel bad though. I bet
it does.
It brings back the memories, and I resent the fact that they've destroyed the neighborhood. That's all. When I saw that, and all my friends, I just that very apartment, I could not believe it.
Yeah.
It could be any other apartment in that building.
So you may have used
the
they may have updated it, but you may have used the same toilet as the head of Trende Agua, whatever it's called.
I've been in that whole thing. I was inside that so many times. You have no idea. He was one of my best friends.
It's pretty surreal.
Played ball with him, everything.
It's weird. It's like when you guys have heard me tell you so many times how I ran into the Parkland shooter before the shooting, right at Wawa.
Yeah.
And he scared the daylights out of me. I didn't even know who he was because he hadn't done what he did yet. And and when something like this happens in the news and you've had some connection to it, it's weird.
Brian, I had the guy, the 9/11, on my bus, taking him to the driver's license bureau in Broward County.
Which one?
On University Drive. The guy, not Ada. The guy, he was heavy with glasses. We talked.
Oh, you're like Forrest Gump. You got a connection to all these historical things.
I could not believe that when I saw that he was one of them. I took him. He went to get his driver's license on Pembroke Road at University, and I had that number 5 bus. I drove him right there. We had a total good conversation. I was shocked when I saw the picture.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
all right. Well, it's good to hear. All right. Good to hear from you. All right. Take care. All right. You're on the air, Mike. Thanks for holding. What's on your mind?
You're right with Millie. The best we could hope for with Millie is to call him back and bust him down to Colonel or PFC or whatever.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And then that would be the best we could hope. Unlike him, Vindman is in real trouble.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see Vindman reactivated.
He can be reactivated. He can be brought in front of a military tribunal and be charged with treason.
Yeah,
I think he committed treason too.
I find it impossible to believe that Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, on his own, just decided to turn the President of the United States into the Inspectors General, and he took that phone conversation, a private conversation the President had, and handed it over to someone. There's a lot of crimes there, and but he got he could most definitely face punishment in the military justice system, no doubt about it.
Right, and the thing with treason is the constitutional punishment for treason is what? Is hanging.
They don't do that anymore. That's not going to happen. You're fanning. No, they don't do that. Oh my goodness, these guys with Vindman, prison or and demotion. But if you go to prison, you lose everything. If no matter what your rank is in the military, if you're sentenced to prison, your rank is prisoner. That's it. That's your new rank, prisoner. So yeah, Vindman could probably go to prison, and I think there's a good chance he's a spy for the Russians. I think there's a very good chance of that. I don't know, but he was born in the Soviet Union, and his parents came. He was born in Ukraine, but it was part of the Soviet Union then, and his parents brought him here as a baby. But he very well could be a Russian spy in our. That is very possible, and a deep military investigation into Vindman. Who knows what that would uncover. I don't believe he did what he did on his own, though, with that phone call that he with Trump and Zelensky. There's just no way. I mean, a lieutenant colonel taking action like that on their own? There's somebody else got him to do that. There's just no way, and pushed it through so it would happen, because what he did was so absurd. He took that phone call. For those that don't remember, President Trump had that phone call with Zelensky, the one that President Trump refers to as a perfect call, and it was a private conversation. But Vindman was, because of his capacity in the military, was one of the government intelligence people who listens in on such phone calls. he took that phone call recording and gave it to the Inspector General, who did an investigation of the Commander-in-Chief. Can you imagine? And that's how they got that impeachment going. So now there's no way he made a move on like that on his own, and he did not get a pardon. And there was a story when the pardons first came out that Vindman's wife was ticked off, was outraged that he didn't get a pardon, which shows that they're afraid that something could happen. All right, now I want to talk to you guys about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. No matter where you're located, give them a call. I was telling you how I got this doorbell camera for my daughter. You want this doorbell camera. It's obviously a part of your security system, no doubt about it. But I find it most convenient with the Amazon deliveries, the DoorDash, the Instacart, the people that knock on your door soliciting, trying to get you to peddle and buy things. It's such a convenience because of that. You get a notification on your phone anytime there's movement at your door, no matter where you're located. So sometimes when I'm on our cruise, I'll get notifications. There's somebody at the door. I can see who it is, even if I'm in Aruba. It's amazing. And you can get a doorbell camera for free that connects to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Slomin's also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. All right? Plus, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call. Here's the number. It is very easy to remember. 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Get it for yourself. Get it as a gift for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, or your adult kids. 1-800-ALARM-ME. All right, you're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. After the top of the hour break, I'm going to get into some other issues because there's a lot. But you're welcome to call in about any of the things I brought up in this first hour about General Milley, because I think there's a lot of questions to be answered here. I mean, this is huge stuff. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are calling. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, back right after this break. 1 minute. We'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. Stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones in just a moment. I'll be back at the radio station tomorrow, which is Thursday already. I can't believe it's Wednesday. Where's the week going? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Hour number 2 has begun. I covered quite a bit in the first hour, so you're welcome to call in about anything I brought up in the first hour. Before I bring up some new things, because there's a lot to cover, including that perfect, beautiful press conference at the White House yesterday with Karoline Leavitt, which I'm going to go through and play some audio from. But first, let's take a few calls, and I'm hoping to hear from some people on what options Trump has realistically with Milley, not what your hopes and dreams are, what realistically he can do, because remember, Milley received a pardon. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mark, calling from Lakeland.
Mark in Lakeland. What's up?
Hey, I'm a JAG, well, I was a JAG attorney. Went in about 20 years ago. Now I'm a lawyer in Lakeland, and I have an answer for you on the Milley thing.
Okay.
He can be called back to active duty as administrative because field grade officers.
Can you do me a favor? Can you pick up your phone, because what you're giving is very good information that we may not hear from anyone else,
Sure.
even on television today. And because you're a JAG, one-time JAG attorney. Oh, he disconnected himself. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I had a JAG attorney on the line. He disconnected himself. Call back, sir. I want to definitely hear from you. Hold on a second. Maybe this is him calling back. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry about that. Yeah, this is Mark again.
Okay, Mark. Okay, so Mark, you're the one-time JAG attorney. We're talking about what legal options President Trump has with General Milley, even though he's received a pardon from Biden.
Right. My first thought, I was thinking about this last week, is that he could be recalled for what's called non-judicial punishment, like an Article 15, and he could be demoted that way. However, because he's a field grade officer, it's all administrative. So he'd be called back to active duty, and he can be brought down to the rank where he last served honorably.
Oh, so that would be 3-star general, lieutenant general.
Right. But the kicker is this: he can be dismissed. When you're a non-commissioned officer or lower, you could be separated from the military with a general discharge or other than honorable discharge. If you're a field grade officer, it's just a dismissal, which is the equivalent of a dishonorable discharge.
So how would that affect his pension?
I think in practice, and this is such an unusual situation, I think in practice he probably could be brought down like the 3-star or perhaps 1-star for pay, which is going to be a big hit for him.
Wait a minute. He can be brought down to, he can be reduced in rank to 3-star general, but he could receive a pension as low as a brigadier 1-star general.
That's my thinking. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
huge. That's like half of his money probably.
It's huge to him, and plus the fact he gets a dismissal, he's a disgrace.
Well, you know, this guy, Milley, isn't just a bad guy. He's got some ego issues. And there's a meme that's been going around for a few years about him that says so much. It's a side-by-side photograph of him with General Eisenhower. General Eisenhower has a couple ribbons on his chest, and Milley has more medals than a general in the Soviet Army on. I mean, so these things are very important to him because he's got ego issues.
I encountered a lot of guys like that, that were his rank, or not definitely his rank, but that were generals or colonels, and they kind of, when you see that picture of them walking behind Trump when they're going to the church that day, he makes ACUs look even worse than they would do normally. He got moves, terrible. I mean, he encountered a lot of those guys. They couldn't pass a PT test to save their life, and he definitely has a lot of issues. And I think that, quite honestly, I think his thing for Trump has to do with his own ego.
Well, you gave us some good information. You know, this is brilliant information. So even with the pardon, this could happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's going to happen. They wouldn't have done yesterday what they did with the Hegseth. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't already have that in line. I mean, if I'm able to figure it out, Trump knows it.
So if he's recalled, though, would we see him in uniform, or would it just be like a paperwork thing?
Well, no, I mean, I think they go through the whole thing. They'd call him back. He'd have to probably go before whoever his superior be, which would probably be Trump. You'd probably make him get in his uniform and be dressed down.
Oh, my goodness. So this is interesting. So there would be some massive media event of General Milley as a 4-star general walking somewhere to be dressed down, and he'll come back with only 3 stars?
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness. That would be beautiful.
Because, you know, it's great marketing, too.
It is.
The reason this has to happen is because you can't have this happening. People say, oh, he's going after his opponents, but that's not the point. You can't let this stuff happen again. It can never happen.
Well, let me tell you, I would support this happening even if he did this to Obama or Biden. You know, the military answers to civilian authority, and what he did was incredibly dangerous. If Russia or China would have launched a major attack, or Al Qaeda, he had the military in such disarray for his behaviors, we would have been completely vulnerable to very deadly attacks.
100%. And what he did with Pelosi, with the discussions they were having about
Well, listen, I appreciate the call and the expert information, which I don't think we're going to get even on on Fox today. I think you gave more legal military analysis than we're going to see all day in the cable news. I really do. I do, because So listen, you were a JAG officer in what branch?
Army. Yeah, I was in active duty for about 5.5 years, been reservist, but I had to get out because when Obama came in, they were starting to activate people, and you just go and do backfill like at Fort Gordon or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't lose my permit.
All right, well, listen, I appreciate the call and the information. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was an amazing call. Okay, I mean, I got goosebumps, man. Was that not an amazing call? Let me because he was on a speakerphone. Let me recap what he said, just in case you had some difficulty hearing. He is a former JAG attorney. Okay, everybody knows what that is because the TV show. He said that even with the pardon, and this is his expert legal advice as a military lawyer, he said he can be recalled to active duty, face discipline, administrative discipline, and be reduced in rank to the last rank he served honorably in, which would be a 3-star general, lieutenant general. And the way it could happen, this is amazing, this is even with the pardon, is that Milley would be called in, and it could be to the Pentagon, to Pete Hegseth, it could be to the White House, to the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, get dressed down, receive his punishment. He would be in full uniform, he'd walk in with 4 stars and walk out with 3. That would be so beautiful. And, that's the kind of thing that President Trump would, President Trump is he wants to make a statement, as he should. And, by the way, his pension could be reduced to as low as that of a 1-star brigadier general, which is huge, because as a 4-star general, he's got a pretty hefty retirement, big difference. He would lose more than half, probably, of his pension each month with that. So this is the kind of thing I think President Trump would like. And Pete Hegseth, coming from the world of the military and television, working with our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, would know how to perfectly market this for the proper presentation to the media. That is amazing. I'm so glad that guy called. I knew if I threw this out, we would hear from someone with some expertise. I didn't think we'd get a veteran JAG officer, military attorney, call in with that level of expertise, and that was beautiful. And I was watching all this discussion on the cable news, looking for some of these answers yesterday when this story broke. I didn't hear anything like that. Did you? All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break, of the hour. And when we get back, we'll go back to the phones. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. See, this is what we used to do, Steve and I, before the internet was invented. You didn't have Google. We would throw out to the audience things like this. But what the answers he gave, you can't Google that. Can't Google that kind of legal analysis. That sounds like the perfect punishment for Millie. I mean, prison would be better, but he's been pardoned. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. It's a Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. Wow, was that something? Was that call something? That was, I know, I wish he wasn't on the speakerphone, but you get a call like, I tried to get him off the speakerphone, he disconnected it. So, beggars can't be choosers. Plus, he may have wanted to disguise his voice a little bit. I think that's what he was doing. Quite possibly. He could have gotten off the speakerphone. But he wanted to hide his voice a little bit. I get it. With that level of it, that was beautiful. Oh. That was beautiful. That would hurt him. His ego is so fragile. Or fragile. Anyone know where that from? Fragile. Anyone know what that comes from? Fragile. Must be Italian. Anybody familiar with that? Let's see. Anyone in the chat? Fragile. It must be Italian. What's that from? Someone's got to know. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. We're on a commercial break on the radio. Rick Shaw in the chat, he got it first. Christmas Story, that's right. A Christmas Story, correct. Yeah, that's right. Rick Shaw, the ghost of Rick Shaw. Yeah, everyone's getting it out, yeah. That's a great movie. I've seen that movie so many times. Remember on TNT over Christmas, they used to run it for like 24 hours or 48 hours? Fragile, it must be Italian. Anytime fragile comes up in my family, me, my wife, my daughter, we all say fragile. We all say that. We don't use the word fragile. 40 seconds. That's one of the cool things about a job like this. You never know who's listening. You throw something out like that, and we got like just beautiful, brilliant advice. Now, when we get back, we're going to talk about My Pillow. And guys, there's a whole. I've never seen this before. There's a whole line of kitchen products that I had not seen before. Some of them are brand new from My Pillow. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Was that call not amazing? The thing with the speaker, I think he was trying to disguise his voice a little bit. That's why he didn't pick up on the speaker. But we got great information. I'll recap it in just a bit. But I want to talk about My Pillow. And remember, guys, I know a lot of you guys, if you're listening, you're a fan of the show. If you want to support the show, a great way to do that is use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. There's an entire line of brand new items for the kitchen that I've never seen before at mypillow.com with huge discounts. Mike Lindell has kitchen aprons that come in multiple colors that are just $19.99 with our promo code Kane. A whole line of Christmas aprons. And also oven mitts in different colors and different sizes and pot holders for the kitchen. Oh, man. I've not seen these before. The MyPillow aprons, oven mitts, and pot holders. Waffle dish cloth sets. And by the way, the oven mitts as low as $14.99. The pot holders just $15.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. And of course, there are dish towels and everything else for the kitchen, dish towel sets and everything else. These are some brand new, yes, it says new products, new. So the MyPillow kitchen aprons, just $19.99 with our promo code Kane. The MyPillow oven mitts as low as $14.99. And the MyPillow pot holders, also just $15.98. All new items with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, as well as the waffle dish cloth set, brand new. And of course, the dish towels they've had for a while, but they got a whole bunch of new ones in as well. Huge discounts with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Also, free shipping on orders over $75. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, back to the phones. Man, you're on the air. What a great call that was. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's James. I'm calling from Lafayette, Georgia.
Hey, what's up, Georgia?
Hey, not a whole lot, man. It's just as bad down here as it is in Washington. They're crooked all over, man, not just there.
Well, that's what the government's all about. It's filled with corrupt public officials that are in it to steal money.
Well, America was founded by the Declaration of Independence. Congress was founded, the U.S. government was founded by the Constitution.
Yeah, okay. Well, we had the Continental Congress. That's where the signers of the Constitution came from.
Right. But the thing about it is, 13 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed.
That's true. We had the Articles of Confederation. We had the Articles of Confederation and all of that. Hey, I appreciate the call, Georgia. Right. But Open Phones is Friday, and it's not a history show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
The most important thing, I think, is the reason to want to call back Millie and Vinman is to cut their pay. If you bring their rank way down, their pay goes way down when they retire. I mean, a general gets, I think, over $220,000 a year. Private doesn't make too much. So I think that would be a good punishment for them a little bit, put them in their place. I don't know how far you can bring them down, but as far as
if you're just tuning in the last segment, I got a call from a guy here in Florida who obviously was trying to conceal his voice because I understand he's probably afraid of these people. I get it, right? But he is a former military. He's a former Army attorney, a JAG officer, and he was giving us legally what can happen to Millie, because remember, Millie received a pardon, and this is what he said. He can be recalled to duty by the president, the commander-in-chief.
Right.
He can, even though he's been pardoned, he can face military discipline, be reduced in rank to the last rank that he served honorably in, which would be a 3-star general, and his pension pay, he can be reduced only to 3-star general, which is a big deal to this guy. And his pension pay can be reduced to that of a 1-star brigadier general, which is a huge pay cut for this guy. He said the way it could play out is he would be recalled to active duty, ordered to report in uniform. It could either be to the defense secretary, the commander-in-chief, or I guess the Army chief of staff, and be disciplined with what they decide. He would walk in with 4 stars. They would demote him and take the star off. In that hearing, he'd walk out with 3 stars. And it would be a huge media spectacle.
Oh yeah, that would be and put him on duty in Antarctica or something and make him suffer. This guy and Vindman too, man. They're both these guys are traitors, and whatever happens.
Yeah, but Billy got a pardon from Biden. He got one of those pre-pardons. But I got to tell you, what we're talking about, what is realistically able to happen, would be a big blow to that guy. He's got such an ego issue. Listen, these guys, the generals and admirals, those are all politicians. Generals and admirals, those promotions go through congressional committees. Okay? So these guys are all political animals. And you see the medals, the rank, and everything else. It means everything to these guys. Oh, that would be very sad. Plus, everything he did would be exposed to the world in that investigation.
Oh yeah, that's what we need to have, man. Show this guy his true colors, what he did to us. What a thing to do, man! I can't believe somebody of his rank would pull something like he pulled. But
well, Doug, I appreciate the call. Yeah, I mean, this is great. You never know who's listening. Yeah, I got to tell you, we have great people in this audience who give us a lot of great information. I mean, that call made my day. That is one of the best calls I've ever gotten on this program. It really is. That was a great call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. I'm calling from Royal Palm Beach.
Hey, what's up?
And my name's Dave. And anyway, the question I have, maybe it's a lawyer out there, but when these pardons came through, if it's anything like that, if it turns out that the guy giving the pardon is actually a principal in the crime, can't that be voided?
That's never going to happen.
The pardon.
That's never going to be happen. That's never going to happen. Listen. Biden is so out of it. Remember that investigation they did at the Justice Department. They determined he was too feeble and not even mentally fit to face charges. None of that's going to happen. When you start you ever hear that? There's an expression they use, these pundits on television. I hate it. We're getting into the weeds here. I hate that expression. We're getting into the weeds. When you get into that kind of you got to do things simple, quick, and as simple as possible. And this guy would be such a media spectacle, an event, and a humiliation. He'd go down in disgrace, Millie. It would be beautiful. This is exactly what we want to happen. What you're talking about is never going to happen.
Probably not. But do you think they can, take his pay away, from a disciplinary action?
What the attorney said? Did you hear the call from the attorney, the JAG officer?
No, sir.
Okay, this is what he. Okay, I'm gonna recap it because it was so good. And I got to tell, I was watching all the pundits on the cable news yesterday. They have all these military experts. They didn't have anybody who explained what this JAG officer explained. They said this: he could be recalled to active duty, Millie, by the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and the Commander-in-Chief. Brought into a disciplinary hearing. They can reduce him in rank to even with the pardon, they can reduce Millie in rank to the last rank he served honorably in, which would be 3-star general. And so he'd be a 3-star general, not a 4-star general. They can reduce his retirement pay to that of a 1-star brigadier general, which is a massive pay cut as well. And he would be recalled in uniform and have to show up in person to a disciplinary hearing. It could be to the Defense Secretary, the Army Chief of Staff, or the Commander-in-Chief. He'd have to show up in uniform. He'd walk in, and that'd be a big media spectacle, you know that. He'd walk in with 4 stars and walk out with 3. They would take it right off his shoulder in the hearing. And that sounds perfect to me.
It would send a message.
I mean, obviously he belongs in Leavenworth, but he's been pardoned, so that's not possible. So, and this is the best we could do, and it would, and I think this fits right into Trump's style. Trump loves media events like this, and because it would make such a strong statement. Plus, everything he did would be exposed to you and I know what he did, but half the country that are Democrats, they don't know because CNN and MSNBC never reported it.
Yeah, if they can bring out the reality to the public, that would be worth its weight in gold, even if we can't throw them in jail or anything. That's
Indeed.
probably the most important thing.
All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call. Wow, great calls today. We're halfway through the show already? How is that possible? It's the Steve Kane Show. I guess because we got all that good news. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. Oh, man. Isn't that something? That is just I think maybe the show's gone by so fast was because of that great information. We'll be back live in 2 minutes. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, toll free, no matter where you're watching, 888-465-2631. When we get back, I'm going to get into Karoline Leavitt's press conference yesterday, which was a great, perfect press conference. And I'm going to go through all of that when we get back. And there's some other things to go through too, but I want to go through the audio of that first, because that was a great press conference. It could not have gone better. She's awesome. I was very impressed. She's only 27. She did very well. Very well. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video, if you don't mind. That helps a lot. We'll be back in 1 minute. Yes, our number is 888-465-2631. It's pinned in the live chat. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. What a great day. We're more than halfway through the show on this Wednesday morning, and man, oh man, did we get some good news. I'll recap that later because I want to get into some other issues. You know, the first White House press conference of Trump's second term with our new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, was spectacular. And I was a little nervous about it. She's only 27 years old. And I've watched, I think, every first press conference for the press secretaries since I've been an adult. I don't think I've missed a first press conference because, you always want to watch the first press conference because everyone wants to see if they crash and burn. And it happened. Sean Spicer crashed and burned in his first press conference in Trump's first term. He just was not equipped. He just was not equipped. There's just no getting around it. He was just not equipped. But Karoline Leavitt, I was a little concerned because she's only 27 years old, and I've never seen her in action like that, really. I've seen her as a guest on television, but I've never really seen her pressed. She came out, and this is not, and I'll let you hear your thoughts on this. This is not an exaggeration, in my view. She, I believe, performed better than any other press secretary during their first press conference at the beginning of a new term ever. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before, not like this. And they were there ready to destroy her. Not only did she do a perfect, incredible, great, historic job, 27 years old, she did not have one note. McEnany was great, but she came out with a portable filing cabinet with files and clip notes so she could go through and find things. Karoline Leavitt did not have a single note. Everything she answered was right there off the top of her head. I got a lot of respect for that. That was beautiful. It could not have gone better. And you got to see how these lowlives in the fake news, mainstream, legacy media, you got to see how they roll here, how they operate. When she went to the mainstream press, there's all those fake news jerks, they all asked about the same thing. Medicaid funding, which is not being cut for people, but they wanted to say that it was. And she'd answer them. She eventually said, I've answered this question 9 times. And what you saw with the fake news media is how they try to craft news. They got together and decided, okay, we're gonna bash her on this. We're gonna berate her on this. Well, every one of us will ask about this. And she, same answer every time and did great. And I was just blown away. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, I did apply for press credentials at the White House yesterday, probably with 50 million other people like me. But I did apply for press credentials yesterday. It's very simple. It took 60 seconds. It was a very short form that I had to fill out. That was it. And I haven't heard back yet. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll have to go out and buy a new suit and, go. But if I get the press credentials, it doesn't mean I'll get called on, but it would mean I'd get to go to the White House press briefing. And if I did that, that would be a beautiful thing. And I don't know, would I rather go to a press briefing at Mar-a-Lago or in D.C.? I think I would definitely make a YouTube video to show you guys of the experience. And I'll tell you the truth, I'd be nervous. Camera on me asking a question, and it's got to be a question that's relevant to what's going on now. But I did apply for White House press credentials through Karoline Leavitt's office yesterday. So I want to go through some of the audio sound bites of her. She just did a wonderful job. And I'm going to start with this one. Oh, by the way, before I get to this, before I forget, President Trump has told Elon Musk to get those stranded astronauts back from the space station that Biden has left up there rotting. For how long now? That's a great thing. Okay, so Karoline Leavitt, the first clip, this is the other thing, the price of eggs. They're obsessed with the price of eggs. So they asked her about the price of eggs, and which is, remember I told Steve yesterday, the new talking point is egg prices. I was expecting a liberal to call in with it yesterday. No one called. Well, they did ask her about the price of eggs, Karoline Leavitt, and she handled it perfectly. Listen. Oh, this is great. Okay, now that was great. And let me rewind that. With the number of chickens that Biden ordered killed? Okay, so there we have, oh my goodness. Where is PETA, the animal rights activists, people for the ethical treatment of animals? Joe Biden ordered the mass murder of 100 million American chickens. That's why the prices are up, because there's a shortage of chickens to lay eggs. So there's an egg shortage that Biden created by the murder of the 100 million chickens. And for all I know, he did it for the chicken lobby to make a few bucks, to drive up the price of eggs. Who knows? This egg question has been going on for the better part of a week. Started over the weekend, before the weekend. I haven't heard anybody spell it out like Karoline Leavitt. Is she not great? Is she not perfect? Why did Biden order the murder of 100,000 chickens? Can you imagine you're an egg guy, you're a chicken farmer, you're an egg farmer, and this senile old coot with a drug-addicted son who takes bribes orders you to kill your chickens that lay the eggs that support you and your family and your farm? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, this was another one that was a shocker. When I heard this, I did a double take. I couldn't believe this was real. Okay, so Elon Musk at Doge, Biden was going to spend $50 million on condoms for Gaza? Now let me ask you, was that rubbers for all these terrorists? So when they attack and rape women, they put condoms on? Or was that a way to launder money and steal money? What is that about? And how many condoms does $50 million buy? I don't know. What the heck? $50 million on condoms just for Gaza. Do you think those Hamas terrorists, the next time they go and kidnap and rape Israeli women, they'll put on one of those condoms? Were the condoms ever going there, or was it a way just to steal money? This is nuts. We're going to take our last break of the second hour. I know. This is, boy, Trump's opening up the books to see what's been going on. Doge at work. $50 million on condoms Biden was spending just for Gaza. 1-888-465-2631 is our number. We'll take our last break of the second hour and be right back. That's nuts. That's nuts. Was it really for condoms, or was it a way to steal money from the government? What would you think? We'll be back in just over a minute. Nuts. 1 minute, we'll be back. Yeah, when I heard that yesterday, I did a double take. I couldn't believe it. What do you think? Was that a way to steal money, or were they really going to send condoms to Gaza? Stand by. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. And man, we learned a lot in that press conference yesterday from Karoline Leavitt. We'll get back to that in a moment. First, I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate for a moment. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate have been with us on the Steve Kane Show for about a decade. I've been a customer there for, 15 years or more. And you will find just the lowest prices on tires anywhere. You know, he has thousands of used tires in stock at very good prices, by the way. And they're very good used tires. But his new tires are so low as $70 a tire out the door and on the road. And out the door and on the road, what I mean by that is when you call Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, I'm going to give you his number in just a moment. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. That price includes everything. There's no added charges. He does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tire. So keep that in mind when you call. And as low as $70 a tire on new tires out the door and on the road, that's on common sizes on common vehicles. And all the cars in my family are on the road, on tires from Friendly Tires. Telling you guys, my daughter, I got 4 new Firestone tires from Friendly Tire on my daughter's car before I shipped it to her in Los Angeles over 2 years ago. And when I went out there over the weekend, I was planning on buying, I figured, she drove through the desert. She drives on the Pacific Coast Highway all over LA. It's all new to her. She's going all over the state. I figured she'd need new tires. So I was prepared to buy her 4 new tires. And when she picked me up, I said, hey, I'm going to buy you 4 new tires when you get out here. And when and she says, I don't need them. I said, come on. I said, I'll take a look. I took a look. They were like new. They were almost exactly like new after over 2 years of driving all the way through the state of California. So his tires are good tires. Give Friendly Mike a call. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. So let me just play this clip again. This is Karoline Leavitt in her perfect, brilliant, historic press conference. She, the first thing that Elon Musk and Doge uncovered, she dropped yesterday. Okay, so Biden was sending $50 million to buy condoms just for Gaza. And Elon Musk and Doge found out about it. Now, my guess is it wasn't for condoms in Gaza, that somebody was using that. It was a money laundering theft. It was some highway robbery. It was a robbery of the federal banks. I mean, somebody was getting that money. I can't believe $50 million on condoms for Gaza. That's like enough condoms for like the world. I mean, come on. And that's why they hate Elon Musk so much. Elon Musk uncovered that. That is nuts. It was a great press conference. I'm going to watch it again later. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you're out. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to get through more of this because it's so good. Now, this is Karoline Leavitt in the press conference yesterday at the White House, talking about the drones. Okay, promises made, promises kept. President Trump told us that he would tell us what happened with the drones, and he did. And this is what is insane about this. The drones were nothing. The FAA approved some type of research program with these larger drones so they could fly over New Jersey. It caused a state of panic throughout New Jersey. A state of panic. I heard several callers call me on the air in a panic about it. Now, because of the panic that was started, people that have drones started flying their drones too. And the Biden administration knew this. Someone could have been killed. People were so afraid of the drones, I'm surprised they didn't get their rifles out and start shooting them down. And that could get people hurt and killed. And this corrupt Biden administration that was involved in some condom racket, with this $50 million for Gaza condoms, they were distracting from something. This drone story hijacked the news for about 2 weeks, hardcore for a week. So there was something going on. What it is, we may never know, but there was something going on that they wanted to distract from. And they allowed a state of public panic to continue for weeks in New Jersey to distract from some scummy thing that they were up to. That's how out of control and lawless that the Biden regime was. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? It's going to be one of those days, guys. One more time. Once, twice. Okay, we're going to see. This is the Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, but that's okay. We'll keep on. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to more calls in a bit. Okay, this is the next clip. Listen. Okay, now that one I played. Hold on. I already played that one. That was a good one. Let me see. There was another one I wanted to. Oh, yes. Okay. This is a clip about the deportation. Callers on hold, stand by. I'll get to the calls in just a bit. We got more to do than we have time on the air. Steve will be joining us in the next hour, by the way. This is some fake news reporter asking Karoline Leavitt about the deportations. Okay, now I'll rewind that and play the whole thing. This was a big thing. You know, you've heard me have this discussion with some liberals on the phones here from time to time. These idiots in the fake news White House press corps are under the impression that illegal aliens are not criminals. They're all illegal. They're all criminals because they entered the country illegally. And they were like, this was like a shocking revelation to the fake news media yesterday. Yes, if they enter the country illegally, they are indeed criminals. This is like breaking news to CNN, NBC News, ABC, CBS. You know, this is like what do you mean they're illegals? So they're all criminals. That's never occurred to them before. All right, here's another one. This is good. Okay, now this question always comes up when you have a new Republican press secretary. Some jerk in the liberal fake news media always asks them to promise to tell the truth. Are you going to tell us the truth or lie to us? And Karoline Leavitt, 27-year-old kid, not a single note, filleted all these monsters. Listen. Oh. Wow, that is so. I love her. She is the best White House press secretary ever. Sorry, McEnany. She's the best ever, ever, ever. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, this was great. That was the drones. I played. There's a couple others I wanted to play. Oh, let's see this one here. Listen to this. That's right. Wow. Those are the Kamala Dreamers. We'll be right back. Man. Doesn't get better than that. Does not get better than that. Yeah, it's Brian. All right, Chad, anywhere you wanted to go? Okay. I got a great call today. I got to tell you about. It was amazing. Did you hear the one with Millie? Okay. What's it about? Okay. All right. Hold on. No. Steve's got something he doesn't want to tell me what it is. He says he wants me to be surprised. Uh-oh. Who knows? Oh, man. Oh. The show has flown by. I cannot believe we only have an hour left. Welcome. If you're new, we'll be back in this minute and a half. We'll be back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. All right? And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps a lot, guys, when you like the video. No, the press didn't want to hear about those criminals. They were not interested in that. One minute. Thirty seconds. We are back. The third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Steve Kane joining us. Oh, man, Steve, hot stuff today. You back with us, Steve?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, that's good. All right. So, just a great, oh, man. You said you had something you wanted to surprise me with. So
well, I have something that I consider to be the story of the decade, a tribute to the healing powers of our man, Mr. Trump.
Okay.
Nothing in the news today struck you as being unbelievably outrageous from a political point of view?
Well, maybe I don't, well, there's a lot of things happening, so I don't know which one you're talking about.
Nothing that even comes close to this. The fact that Donald Trump has the most remarkable effects, so remarkable on people that he was able to bring two people together who you would have thought it was absolutely impossible. What do you think of the endorsement of Tulsi Gabbard by Liz Cheney?
I missed that one. Liz Cheney and I did miss that one. Tulsi?
Oh my God!
Well, I missed that.
Can you believe that?
Hold on,
Liz Cheney called a press conference last night. Was in the middle of the Hannity show, and she announced that she was going to endorse Liz Cheney, and they were like best friends and all this. And the thing that brought them together was Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know. I have not heard that. If anybody has heard that and seen it, call us.
Well, you've got one of those.
I'm looking now. I'm Googling it as we're speaking, and I don't see it. But maybe she's trying to derail Tulsi.
On Fox. Somebody will call in with that if you have an open line.
Yeah, we got an open line. You can call in. I'll keep a line open for that because I'm looking.
Well, assuming it's true, would that not be a miracle?
It would be a miracle.
The cameras and everything. She was there on the scene at the Capitol. And she had her own little mini press conference in which she endorsed Tulsi Gabbard.
I think
they were best friends, and she was wonderful and great.
I think that is not. I think you saw something from Liz Cheney a while back, because I don't see anything. I don't.
This was last night.
All right. If anybody saw what Steve's talking about, give us a call because I did not. I don't see that, and I'm Googling it, and I don't see anything coming up.
It's amazing.
But that's, I don't know if that's good. If that's true, that's a reason to look at her again. If Liz Cheney likes her.
No, that's not it. It was not because of Liz Cheney. It was because of Donald. It was a favor to Donald.
Why would Liz Cheney do a favor to President Trump?
You wouldn't think off the top of your head that would be true, but I'm telling you it happened. I can't believe it's not on the wire.
Are you sure it's not Meghan McCain you're talking about? Because I saw she came out in favor of Trump and Tulsi.
I mean, it's impossible that the news would miss it.
They're both overweight white women. I don't know. If anybody heard this story about Liz Cheney, give us a call, because I missed that. That would be some news. That would be some
It was
news.
like somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock on Fox last night.
Oh, I was fast asleep by then, so I missed it. But I Googled it. I think it might have been Meghan McCain. I did see a story with her yesterday that she said, I didn't read the story because I don't care what anybody named McCain says about anything. But if anybody knows what
She's the one whose nomination is in trouble, right?
I don't think any of the nominations are in trouble. I think the media want you to think they're in trouble. But let me give out the number. If anybody has any info on this, give us a call, 1-888-465-2631. I don't think that, I think it was one of two things you saw, Steve, I think. Now, again, I could be wrong. It could have either been Meghan McCain, okay, or it could have been, since they're attacking Tulsi, they found some old video of Liz Cheney that they played, one or the other. Because I'm looking online, I don't see any.
Well, maybe I misheard the story. It sounds amazing.
That's okay. I've misheard a lot. I don't know if you misheard or what, but if anybody knows what Steve's referencing here, give us a call. A little more than I guess it's been, but a little more than an hour ago, Steve, I got an incredible phone call from a listener.
Tell me.
This was, we broke news on this program today, okay? If you're on hold, stand by, and I know there have been people that were on hold before the break, but if anyone has any info on what Steve's referencing with Tulsi, I'll do my best to get you on first. You've heard this story about them investigating General Milley, this treasonous creep, right?
Yeah, they bounced him last night.
No, they haven't done it yet. Okay, Milley, for those that are just tuning in, and first off, shame on you. This show starts at 6 a.m., people on the East Coast. Word has come out that the Commander-in-Chief and the Secretary of Defense are going to activate General Milley to active duty. They're going to do an investigation and demote him. He has been pardoned. He got one of the pre-pardons from Biden, so he can't be prosecuted for his treason. And what Milley did, just to recap it quickly, was pretty severe. On January 6th, he was involved in a conspiracy that went on for some time with Pelosi and others to remove President Trump as President of the United States. And this, by the way, went on not just on January 6th, all the way through the day before Biden's inauguration. They were discussing removing President Trump from office and making Pence the president. So at Biden's inauguration, Pence would show up as the president, and Trump would have been removed. Okay, and what he also did was pretty severe. He illegally took control of the nuclear arsenal away from President Trump. He went, the chairman, I did not know this, Steve, because, but the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has no military command. They are a military advisor to the president. They have no military command. I thought they were in like the senior officer in charge of all the branches. They're just a military advisor. They have zero military authority or command. I mean, you have to salute them. They're a 4-star general, but they have no military command. Milley did two other things other than conspire to remove the President of the United States, which is high treason. He also picked up the phone and called his counterpart in the Chinese army and had conversations with him on January 6th. And then he went to the room where they control the nuclear weapons and illegally seized control of America's nuclear arsenal from President Trump, which made the nuclear football inactive. So he committed some very high crimes, none of which he can be tried or prosecuted for because he received a pre-pardon from Biden. So they're recalling him for some disciplinary action. What can they do? Well, we found out in the last hour, Steve, one of our listeners is a former military lawyer, a JAG officer, and they told me what legally can be done, and it's pretty good. They can reactivate him. He would be required to show up to a disciplinary hearing in uniform to whoever they decided. It could be the Chief of Staff of the Army, it could be Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, or the Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump at the White House himself. he would, and it'd be a massive spectacle with the press. It'd be almost like a perp walk, right? He would pull up, he'd get out in uniform with his 4 stars, go into this hearing, and he can be demoted to the last rank that he served honorably in. So what the lawyer told us, the JAG lawyer told me, that would be a 3-star general. So he would go in, a 4-star general, they would take the star in the meeting, he'd come out with only 3, and they can reduce his pension to the level that a 1-star general would receive. So that's, that's pretty humiliating. That's the best we can get.
I would say.
But I would love, that's like Chuck Connors and Brandon. Remember that, Brandon? Brandon is the man who ran. They used to put the yellow stripe down the soldier's back. That would be such a beautiful media spectacle that it would be incredibly humiliating. And that was a JAG attorney who called me earlier in the show, and I think that's pretty good. All right, we're going to take our first break of the 3rd hour. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve, all right?
Okay.
All right, now if anybody knows what Steve heard about Liz Cheney and Tulsi Gabbard, feel free to give us a call and let us know about that. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. There's only 1 opening on our board. 2 openings, I'm wrong. 2 openings on our board. And we'll get back to the calls when we get back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We'll be back in just over a minute. And if you're already subbed to the channel, please like the video. That helps a lot. One minute. We'll be back. 1 minute. Oh. Stand by. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here. You back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I think I may have made a mistake here. I've got to do a retraction.
Yeah,
I think I might have confused Liz Cheney and Meghan McCain. Is that possible?
Well, they're two big mouths. Both have obesity issues, and they both have a history of hating Trump. It's easy to confuse. Yes, it was Meghan McCain that you saw. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that makes more sense.
Which I guess she's trying to weasel her way into Trump's orbit after everything. If you're on hold, stand by. I wanted to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing, who Tom Laporta rebuilt your whole house, Steve. Basically,
yes, he did.
And your house is the conversation piece of your street. And what had happened is, when we tell you often, Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. And if you see a wet spot on your ceiling, that means you got a leak in your roof. And this is how we met Tom Laporta, by the way, at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. You had a wet spot on your ceiling and you ignored it for a long time. And, you know, it got bigger and bigger, and then you had other wet spots. You had a wet spot here, a wet spot there, a wet spot everywhere. And by the time you called Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing, not only did you need a new roof, the water had done so much damage from the leaky roof that you had deadly black mold in your home. Not only
a little job into a huge job.
Oh yeah, you had deadly black mold in your home. You had to get 40% of the drywall replaced. Then on top of that, the wet from the roof was a breeding ground for termites. So you had termites eating your house. It was a mess. And you can avoid all this. When you see that first wet spot on your ceiling, call Tom Laporta, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. And Tom Laporta made me aware of something that shocked the daylights out of me about the roofing business. Now, in Florida, we probably have more roofers than any other state because of the hurricanes. And this is what I learned from Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. Did you know, Steve, that you can borrow a roofing license from a roofer and go into the roofing business? So you and I, we could find some joker driving around in a pickup truck in our neighborhoods, borrow his roofing license, and tomorrow start Kane and Craig Roofing and go around and do roofs. You and I don't know anything about roofing. We just know you call Tom Laporta and he takes care of it. But the way it works, we can borrow a license and have our own roofing company. I wouldn't trust me and Steve to do your roof repair or roof replacement. You want a real guy. That's why there's so many fly-by-nights in Florida. Tom Laporta holds all of his licenses himself. And Steve, Tom Laporta showed me the books he had to study to get that contractor and roofing license. It's like a law library. And every book is as thick as the New York City phone book in the 70s. And that was a thick phone book. So give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Again, that's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. All right, so we can go to the phone, Steve. We only have 2 openings on the board, but I think everyone's going to tell us that it was McCain, not Cheney. So I don't know. What do you want to
do? Straighten me out. I got to set the record straight.
That's okay. Hey, listen, believe me, I've made bigger mistakes than that on the air. Oh, my goodness. I don't want to go down that road. So I'm not going to get when somebody makes a mistake, when you make a mistake, I'm not going to rub it in because I've had some doozies, none of which I'm going to remind you of during this conversation. I'm having all these flashbacks of the stupid things I've said into the microphone. All right, our number 1-888-465-2631. All right, I'm going to go to the phone. Steve, if you get disconnected, I'll call you back during the break, all right? All right,
okay,
so let's go. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is David from Palm Beach Gardens. How you doing?
Hey, David.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Yeah, Steve was 50% correct. Yeah, you already know the answer. It's definitely Meghan McCain.
Yeah. What's her angle? Why is Meghan McCain out there trying to supposedly help Trump now?
Here's why. Because she's personal good friends. She was on Hannity last night, and she's personal good friends for many years with Tulsi. So she's a strong proponent of Tulsi Gabbard because of how well she knows her.
Yeah, does that help or hurt Tulsi?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Is she trying to? Yeah. Is Meghan McCain trying to help Trump and Tulsi, or is she trying to undermine him?
Yeah. Well, it really sounded like she was trying to. She definitely wants to help Tulsi. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she's no Trump.
Well, I give you an example. Okay, one of these witches on The View, from the Coven, one of these witches up there. And by the way, you know how in California,
which one?
You know how in California they call Rodeo Drive Rodeo Drive. In Florida, we have a different dialect here in Florida. Witches is spelled with a B. A lot of people don't know that. So Anna Navarro on The View hates Trump like the plague, right? Hitler, all this stuff.
They will hate
and well, she's best friends. she's best friends with Pam Bondi. And Anna Navarro has even said on The View that she's a big supporter. Yeah, she's complimenting Pam Bondi all the time. So it's a small world.
Yeah, so you're. Hey, one other quick comment. I got to make a comment if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Another absolute bingo. Another bingo for Trump, obviously. This 27-year-old Karoline Leavitt is an absolute gem.
Oh, yeah. You know, I got to tell you.
She's only going to get better.
You know, I got
to get better. She was a little tense yesterday.
Well, she's a little nervous.
And as a result of the fact that, the newness of it, she was going too fast. But she did a great job. But she's even going to be better than she was yesterday.
But she took control.
Yeah, Steve, I agree.
A couple things about her. It was, and this is not an exaggeration. I don't believe at all. I think she had the best performance of any press secretary's first press briefing with a new presidential term in history. I don't think a first press conference has ever gone that well, ever. And I've been watching it my whole life.
An A.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another.
At least an A.
Yes, and she's a 27-year-old kid. She went up there without any notes. Which Steve and I don't use notes. That's why sometimes we get things wrong. We do everything off the top of our head. So sometimes you might be, right. I've never seen a press secretary do that. And I was a little concerned because of her youth. She's a 27-year-old kid, and that's very young.
Those are stuff.
And I've seen a lot of people in their 20s that are national people talk before. She's the most intelligent, most well-informed person in their 20s that I've ever seen talk about politics on television and handle something like that. She's a genius.
I violently agree. She was phenomenal. And Steve, you're right. She maybe was a little quick, but again, we got to give her an A. First one, like Brian's. That's about as good as it's.
Well, they brought the media brought out all their A-listers, right? They brought out all their primetime people. They had Caitlin Collins from CNN, that jerk from NBC that interrupts Trump all that. They had all the They brought in all of their veteran top people to destroy her. This was her first time. This was their 1,000th time, and she hit a home run against veterans who had conspired to make her look stupid because all the mainstream fake news legacy media they asked the same question. They asked about the Medicaid. And she said, "You've asked me this 9 times." She said, "You asked me 9 times the same question. I answered all you." I think she hit a home run. It could not have gone better.
No, she did. Hey, how about the idiot Acosta, too, gone? The absolute pathological lying idiot talking about being truthful and all that. What a clown.
Yeah. What he doesn't understand is no one likes him, and there's no... when Tucker left Fox, when they fired him, he was fired because he was breaking news. He had those J6 tapes, and he had that first night, Tucker, and he showed how the Capitol Police took the shaman around the Senate building looking for an unlocked door to take him into the chamber where they had a pool photographer from the media waiting for the picture. And that's what got him fired, and everybody knew it. So when they fired him, he had been victimized by the corporate media. He had a story to tell, and this guy, Acosta, no one wants to hear what he has to say. No one likes him. He's a jerk. He doesn't break news. He covers news up. And he thinks he's so famous and such a big deal that he's going to be a superstar in the new media like Tucker or Megyn. He's going to end up on the local news in Seattle or something.
Yeah, if he's lucky.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
All right.
He's a lying clown, as you guys know. Good talking to you guys.
All right, take care. All right, Steve, I'm gonna put you on hold, Steve. Okay, and we're gonna take our break for the bottom. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. 2.5 minutes, we'll be back. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. All right? Steve, you there? Or we'll be back in about a minute. All right, hold on. <clears throat> 25 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane, you back with us? Yes. You back with us, Steve? All right, we got Steve. One more time. Steve, you back with us? Oh, he put the phone down. I'm going to put him on hold. I'll take a call, then I'll go back to Steve. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning. Hey, Uncle Steve, Brother Brian.
Yes.
Man, what a beautiful press conference yesterday. When I saw that, first thing I thought of was you when she opened up the front row to new media and allowing all podcasts and YouTubers in. And the first thing came in my mind is Brian got his wish. All right.
Oh, we'll
anyway,
see.
Listen. When it comes to the condoms, I want you Democrats to think about this. If your tax dollars going out, let's say they're telling the truth. For whatever reason there is, imagine that. 50 million of your hard-earned tax, just Gaza, just like he says, Gaza. However, it is said that these people are using these to make them like balloons, like a hot air balloon in a way, and they can carry incendiaries. And in other words, a regular balloon can't do the job. The whole
like homemade explode. Yeah, it's possible. All right, appreciate the call. Let me try Steve again. Hold on a second. All right, Steve, you back with us?
I certainly am.
Okay, now if you're on hold, stand by. Now there was in that press conference, there was something that was she dropped a lot of big news. Okay, but one of them was just. Did you hear the thing about the condoms?
Yes.
Okay, now for those that don't know, let me recap it. Karoline Leavitt in the White House press conference yesterday, she broke news on the first thing that Elon Musk and Doge uncovered about government waste, that Biden was sending, and it was about to go out. They caught it just in time. If it weren't for Elon Musk heading Doge, it would have gone out. $50 million to Gaza for condoms. And now what the condoms were for, we could speculate on. But there's also the possibility that there were no condoms going to Gaza, that this was just a way for them to steal money, for somebody. That's possible. These Hamas rapists that rape these girls, I don't think they use condoms before they rape and murder an Israeli, do they? It was very bizarre. I know 50 million seems like a small thing, but when something's small like that, I think it might be easier to trace where the money was going. Because I find it hard to believe they were really going to send $50 million in condoms anywhere, right? So that had to be a payoff, wouldn't you think?
Yes, somewhere, and that's what they do.
That's how they do it. Yeah, money laundering. This is why they've been trying to get Trump to drop Elon Musk, right? I mean, when he starts going through the accounting of the government, and
he's interfering with the payoff.
Exactly. And that's how the entire government operates. All these members of Congress, this is how they pay off their donors. And what and I don't know if we're ever going to get a true accounting of where that money was really going. And I know people have all kinds of explanations as to why they were sending condoms. I don't think they were sending one condom to Gaza. I think this was just a way to steal money from the government. And I hope that Doge is able to track where that payment was going to go, because what Karoline Leavitt said is the payment was about to be transmitted. So that means they know where it was going to be sent. So they were sending money to someone under the guise that they were going to buy $50 million in condoms and take them to Gaza. Jeez. Doesn't even make sense. That's
Well, that's how the government. That's the problem with the government. None of it makes sense.
Well, if you look at it, it makes sense. Like I remember in the 80s, there was some scandal out of the Pentagon where they were paying now this is 1980s dollars. They were spending $1,500 on a hammer, $400 on a toilet seat. Remember all those stories?
Toilet seats. I remember the toilet seats.
Yeah, the $400 toilet seats. So those sorry about that. Those kind of things. Hold on a second here. Sorry about that, Steve. Those kind of things were happening in the 80s, and now we know it wasn't the government getting ripped off. Those were payoffs to people, right? They weren't paying $400 for a toilet seat, and they weren't just buying one. They were buying thousands of toilet seats, maybe millions. That was to pay somebody off. This condom story, $50 million, not $50,000, by the way. This is a cover. Somebody was getting paid off, and there's no way that Elon Musk is not going to do some investigation. He's the richest man in the world, so he could do this on his own if he had to. They'll find out where the money was going. Also, President Trump has asked Elon Musk to send SpaceX up to rescue those astronauts. And those astronauts on the space...
Everybody always forgets about them.
Well, those astronauts didn't go up on SpaceX. They went up on... what's that airline that always has the planes crash? That have a spaceship too. I forget which one. But it was not... it wasn't SpaceX that sent them up. And Biden and Bill Nelson, who used to be our senator in Florida, Democrat jerk, was heading NASA. They let these astronauts up there, left them there to rot. And Elon Musk was going to Elon Musk just can't send a rocket to the space station. He's got to have permission of NASA, of the government. So he's been asked by President Trump to rescue them, and let me tell you, that's going to be a very heroic. I imagine when these astronauts are rescued by Elon Musk, they're going to get the first parade for an astronaut in a long time. I mean,
you're saying it like it's assured it's going to work.
Yeah,
it's a very ticklish proposition.
Elon Musk can go to the space station. He's gone there many times. He sends supplies.
Yeah, but so much is going awry with this particular mission.
By the way, it wasn't his rocket though. It was Boeing. Boeing's spaceship is the one that malfunctioned and left them stranded, not him. His competition. So he'll go to the space station and rescue them. And when they come back, it's going to be a hero's welcome for these two. And it really, this press conference yesterday, the other thing I was talking about earlier is President Trump released a statement through Karoline Leavitt at the press conference about the drones. The drones were nothing. It was some research that was FAA approved.
Yeah, I saw that, but they didn't go into detail.
No, it was a big nothing. And
well, so far it's a work in progress.
No, I don't think it was anything. What I took, it was a big nothing. And what I took from that was that there was mass hysteria going on in New Jersey over the drones, and it overtook the media for about 2 weeks. Were nothing but drones. One solid week, it was 24/7 coverage, but the story hijacked the news cycle for 2 weeks. The Biden administration was up to something that they didn't want people to see. I don't know what it was, but the Biden regime could have ended the panic in New Jersey, but they allowed public hysteria to continue and grow, and people could have gotten killed with that as a distraction from something they were doing because it took over the news media, and it really shows you how incompetent and sick, disgusting, and devious and evil the Biden regime was. They leave the astronauts up there to die. They allow mass hysteria in New Jersey over the drones to take place. Someone's stealing $50 million under the guise of condom relief to the rapist Hamas terrorist, in Gaza. I mean, the level of corruption that's been going, I don't know how the country has survived these last 4 years. I really don't. It's scary, isn't it?
That is.
Now, I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical and their neuropathy treatment, because this is amazing. We found Lighthouse Medical 2.5 years ago. And, if all of the sponsors of the Steve Kane Show, either Steve uses them, I use them, or we both use them, right? And Lighthouse Medical is this is more of a public service announcement than it is a commercial. But we found them out of desperation because you were suffering with neuropathy to the level you couldn't function. You couldn't get out of bed. You had every symptom, the pain, the dizziness, everything. And we had our cruise coming up. And you're like, I don't know, Brian, if I can go on that cruise. I got this. And we found Lighthouse Medical. Your doctors and even your neurologist said there's no treatment for neuropathy. And we found Lighthouse Medical. And they have a treatment for neuropathy. And they have a treatment that works. And you went over there. You had immediate relief the next day after your first treatment.
I remember it well.
Yeah, I was in shock. And what we stumbled upon a few months ago is that not only does Lighthouse Medical have a treatment for neuropathy that works and rid you of your neuropathy symptoms, but it's a treatment that lasts, because we are now over 2.5 years since then, and your neuropathy symptoms haven't returned. It's amazing. So Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment that lasts. So if you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy, give them a call. Now, when you call Lighthouse Medical, a couple things. One, no matter where you're located in the United States, they can help you with your neuropathy. That's number one. Number two, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, because then they give you a no-charge consultation. They only give no-charge consultation to Steve Kane listeners, okay? I mean, if you give free consultations to everyone, you're just doing consultations. You don't have time to see patients, right? So that's something they exclusively offer to Steve Kane listeners, so make sure you mention that. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Give them a call. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take a break for the gold report and be right back. Hey, it's Brian. I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll be on in about a minute. All right? Okay, hold on. Okay. Actually, exactly a minute. I just looked at the clock. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. All right? That helps a lot, guys. And those of you that are new, this is where MAGA comes to talk, all right? Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. And I know you guys that are new will enjoy this program if it's your first time. All right, stay by 30 seconds. We'll be back with the gold report. And if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll after the gold report, we'll go back to our very busy phones. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Well, metals are looking good. Slightly lower, but big gains yesterday for gold and silver. Yesterday we saw gold trade in a range of 27.33 on the low and all the way up to 27.66, closing near the highs yesterday at 27.63. That was up $22.50 for gold. Silver up 19 cents, closing at $30.35 the ounce. Platinum was down $4.941, and palladium was down $5.937. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of 27.53 all the way up to 27.68. And right now, gold's 27.57. That's up $6.
Wow.
Or down $6. I'm sorry. Silver at $30.50 the ounce. That's up 15 cents. Platinum up $6.947, and palladium up $5 at $9.42.
Wow, everything's looking great.
We're starting the day off, but the markets seem to want to go higher.
Yeah, yesterday you were telling us about these great deals on the 100-ounce silver bars. You said they were just 50 cents over the spot price per ounce. And I heard from some listeners after the show, and they were asking me about other bars. You have silver bars not just at 100 ounces, but what are some of the other ones that you would recommend, the other sizes on the silver bars?
We have 1 ounce silver bars, 5 ounce silver bars, 10 ounce kilo bars of 32.15 ounces, and some 50 ounces and 100 ounce bars, and 1,000 ounce bars. So
1,000 ounce bars?
We have them in all different sizes, and of course we have the coins in a few even in the half-ounce size of silver coins, mostly 1 ounce silver size coins, and of course the silver rounds.
Did you say 1,000 ounce silver bars?
Yeah, they actually come 1,000 ounces also.
You got to show me one of those. Really? What do they come in a truck? How do you get that home?
They practically they're monsters to move. They weigh about 70 pounds.
Oh, that's nothing. I could take that. But the silver bars, a thing about the silver bars, a lot of people that acquire metals like these silver bars because a lot of them, they stack. They're easy to store and they stack nicely and things in the different sizes and they're at great prices. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call. And remember, you can do transactions with William Youngerman no matter where you're located in America or the world. 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in. And remember, all the metals at William Youngerman, including the 1,000-ounce silver bars, are available for immediate delivery. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
All right, take care. Okay, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness. William Youngerman told me something I did not know about what he has over there. I don't even know if you know this. Yesterday we were talking about 100-ounce silver bars are a great deal, just 50 cents over spot. So I asked him, because some people had asked me, some of our listeners, about other size bars. So he has 1,000-ounce silver bars. 1,000 ounces.
1,000 ounces?
Yes.
How do you lug that around?
He said it's 70 pounds. You just take your son. You could get a few out.
Bad.
Can you imagine?
You would think it'd be more than 70 pounds.
Yeah, what a conversation piece, right, for the house.
Use it as a doorstep.
Well, next time Christmas bonuses come around, you can get me one. Oh my goodness, I got to see that. I want to go over there just to see that. I got to see what that looks like. All right, we're back. Our number. 1-888-465-2631.
By the way, I don't get the gold report in here. Is it a good day to buy or a good day to sell?
Well, I'm in the opinion it's always a good day to buy all the metals, but yeah, it's a good day to buy.
That's true.
It's a very good day to buy, whichever one you want. But you might want to think of. I'm curious about that 1,000-ounce bar. I got it. That's just amazing to me. That's just amazing. But anyway, all right. You want to take some more calls?
Yes, let's do that.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Joanne. I'm calling from Florida.
Hey, Joanne.
I am wondering, I don't know if I'm ignorant of the procedures, but I have heard for years that Congress is in charge of the purse strings. So how did it, and who did send that $50 million for condoms?
The House of Representatives is in charge of the Treasury, yeah. It's disguised in Gaza funding, right? They have all this Gaza funding.
General.
Yeah, so they got approval for Gaza funding, and then somehow this. Yeah. By the way, it's $50 million for Hamas condoms.
Yeah, I thought that was just fantastic.
Isn't it great?
I also have another question.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that Vindman got either a congressional or Senate seat. Is that true?
Yeah, he was elected to Congress in Virginia.
In Virginia. Did you know that he lives in Florida?
Does he? I don't know. You don't have to. You don't have to live in the district to hold a House seat.
Right. Okay. Okay. I guess that's it.
All right. Take care.
Thank you so much. I enjoy your show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. What a nice lady she is. This thing about Vindman though. Okay, Colonel Vindman. He did not get a pardon. And he's the one who turned the phone call between Trump and Zelensky over to the Inspector General, which is insane that a lieutenant colonel would do that, who was listening in on the call. And that resulted in one of Trump's impeachments, remember? So, yeah, I know, pretty bad. So
I remember he was a bad guy. I also remember that he was a Nat Traeger lookalike, Denman.
Yeah, I can see that. Just younger, a lot younger. But other than that, yeah. And the thing about Vindman though, when the pardons came out from Biden, his wife went public and was furious that Vindman didn't get a pardon. So that tells me the wife is nervous that her husband could be in trouble. So I don't know. But I'll tell you this. This thing with Millie that we were talking about earlier, that's Trump's first play against these conspirators against him of these last few years. And that's a pretty serious thing. I spent a lot of time talking about that in the first hour and the beginning of the second hour because I got that great call from that JAG attorney. And if you missed that part of the show, go back and listen to it because I believe we broke some news that we had a JAG attorney, a veteran JAG attorney call in and walk us through what Millie would be facing with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and it was perfect because you got to understand, Millie got a pardon from Biden, but there's still some things that are majorly in play that would be very beautiful. So you can go back and listen to that part of the show. But that tells me that Trump is really going to bring these lawfare and treasonous people to justice. That he's not, and I'm glad he is. I know they want to call it revenge. It's not revenge. If you're arresting criminals, it's not revenge. That's justice, right? I've never heard. It's got to be done. His name's got to be cleared, and they got to.
I have very mixed feelings about it.
Yeah. I get you over
I like the idea. I like this new thing that he's been on lately of looking forward rather than looking back. I think it's serving him well, and I have very mixed feelings about abandoning that philosophy.
By the way, did you see our incredibly cool and sexy Homeland Security Secretary lead the raid on the Venezuelan gang leader yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
She looks like...
Oh, my goodness.
She's breathtaking.
Yeah.
A lot of them look alike. They all look like out of a pinup calendar.
Well, that's it, right? Yeah. Trump hires good-looking people. He doesn't like unattractive people, but
especially the women.
Well, it works. But Christy Nome is very. That was very cool what she did yesterday. She's going to do more of those raids. You know, she's, yeah. And I could tell that the ICE agents love her. They seem so giddy and excited that they could do their job with her. But you know that that gang leader they got in New York wasn't even hiding. And he was the one, not only is he the leader of that Venezuelan gang, Tren Al Agua, I don't know what it is, but he was the one holding the rifle at that Aurora, Colorado apartment building camera footage that we've seen, right? He was the one holding the AR-15, you know, and they got him so quick. That tells me that the administration knew where he was and they let him go, even though he did what he did. All right, let's.
Well, they haven't actually been hiding.
No, why should they hide? They didn't.
People.
Yeah, they didn't think they would ever get arrested, right? They didn't think they'd.
Yeah, well, they used to operating in an environment of with impunity.
Well, they were when Biden was in office. Oh man,
that's correct.
I wonder how many shockwaves that sent to these criminal gang members throughout the country. You know, and these arrests are happening all over the country. There was a big one in Miami yesterday. They've been arresting people here as well in Florida. It's great. You know, who would have thought this would have happened? Really? I mean, we should have known. I mean, President Trump always keeps his promises, but it's happening so fast. It's happening so fast. And I don't care, you know, like some federal judge he's not going to pay attention to these federal judges. He's going to just keep doing what he's doing until the Supreme Court decides. He's not going to let some federal judge run the country while we're under attack. That's crazy. You go to some liberal appointed by Biden or Obama or Clinton. I don't know if there's any Carter judges around. They got to be pretty old. There might be. But no, he's handling things in a way like he's never handled anything before. I want to tell everyone that, Steve, there's a whole new line of products from MyPillow.com, kitchen products, and huge deals with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. There's new MyPillow kitchen aprons, MyPillow oven mitts, MyPillow pot holders, a whole bunch of new dish towels as well. These are all new products, and they're at incredibly low prices and free shipping on orders over $75 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. So go take advantage of that. And remember, when you go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane, you're supporting the Steve Kane Show, and that's greatly appreciated, guys. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back. Can you believe tomorrow's Thursday already? This week is flying by because we're in the golden... Yeah, we're in the golden age of America.
You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, that president-elect period seemed like 2 years, and now tomorrow's Thursday already. You know, because things are so, you know, the sun's out in America now. Trump's in office. It's the golden age of America. Things are going well. And we even found out the answer to the egg prices. Biden ordered the murder of 100 million egg-laying chickens. And there's an egg shortage. That's why the egg prices are up. Isn't that crazy? Where's PETA?
Well, I don't know. What do you want to do? Sell infected eggs?
I don't know that they were infected. Listen, we're out of time for today.
Well, they killed them. They're exposed to
I don't believe anything Biden says. All right, we're out of time.
Oh, I can relate to that.
We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m.